by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It's a proud Boise State tradition to honor our graduates who are also active military or veterans. Please look for the red, white, and blue honor cords signifying our military graduates. We also want to remember the men and women in the service of our country who are deployed around the world, to honor all those who serve and sacrifice for the freedoms we treasure. We offer this moment of silent reflection. Please be seated. Well, good morning. Welcome to the 102nd graduation ceremony for Boise State University. We are so pleased to see this turnout. And before we do anything else, let's acknowledge Yansu Park on violin, John Bostrom on piano, the City of Boise Police Pipes and Drums, the Boise Police Honor Guard, and our own Boise State ROTC for that beautiful introduction to today's ceremony. Graduates, congratulations on reaching this incredible milestone in your lives. And if we could have some lights so I can actually see who you are, that would help. First of all, I see most importantly, blue and orange. Do you look good in blue and orange? I gotta tell you right now. Yeah. The other thing that is very interesting, especially for our guests who may be attending a graduation here for the first time, over the recent years, we kept growing the number of graduates to the point where we've run out of room on the floor. And so this year, for the first time, as many of you know, we're doing two of these, one at 3:30 this afternoon, and this one, of course, at 10 o'clock this morning. The one at 3:30 is gonna look as crowded as this one, so it gives you some sense of the growth that we've had here at Boise State, the success in attracting students, and today, the success in graduating students. Congratulations for that. What we're going to do today is award three different kinds of degrees. We're going to award a few PhD and doctoral degrees. We're going to award, and by the way, while we're doing that, remember that just in the last couple of years, Boise State has become a doctoral research university, which is not only important for those receiving graduate degrees here today, but that works to the reputational advantage for every single graduate that comes from Boise State University. We will also be awarding a significant number of master's degrees. In fact, when you put those master's degrees together with those doctorates, we have the largest graduate school in the state of Idaho, and we're very proud of that, growing every year. And finally, to all that blue and orange out here on the floor, those are our undergraduates who are receiving their bachelor's degree today. And I have to say, I'm just betting there's a few parents up there in the audience who are thinking, this is the graduation? It seems like we just got onto the B and went through convocation yesterday. And it's amazing, but it wasn't too long ago that you were doing just that. You came to summer orientation. You then came to move-in day, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks who are thinking, move-in day was 4 or 5 years ago? Really? And then there was the convocation, and then there was forming the B. And of course, you were the second class in the history of Boise State University to form the B on the blue after the convocation. And here you are today. Students whose GPAs and test scores have improved over the years, thereby enhancing the academic quality of Boise State. You've been in classes where new faculty have joined us in the time you've been here and before, and they come from some of the finest graduate schools across the United States. And when we read Facebook and Twitter this week alone, all the parents, your parents who are commenting on your experience, it's really refreshing and so generous of people to say such nice things about the education received here, which reflects, of course, on these folks in the back here, our faculty, who day after day, year after year, provide that quality education that you've received. It just means so much to us to have you here today celebrating with us and allowing us to congratulate you. Of course, the first thing that we notice about you today, as opposed to 4 or 5 years ago, is your personal growth and development. In every way, you have grown, you have matured, you are ready to step out now into this very complicated world we live in and play a positive role in improving the lives of all around you. But of course, there's also the issue of your mastery of a discipline. You have indeed mastered a discipline and a set of skills and competencies that are really going to usher you into this new world of work you're about to enter. Or perhaps it's graduate school, or perhaps it's professional school. Whatever it is, it's just so exciting for us here on this stage and the faculty to the rear of the stage to think about and reflect on where this city, nation, world goes with the contributions you now afford all of us. Now, along the way, we figured out over the years, you didn't do this alone. We all have our own personal experiences with that, of course, with our own kids, so we know something about that. We know that behind every one of you was a family, were friends, moms and dads, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, grandparents. We want all of them friends, Romans and countrymen for that matter, who had anything to do with this graduation of this particular student. Please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you. And if I may, I would ask our graduates, for those of you who are first in your families receiving a degree, to please stand and be recognized so we can congratulate your families. Look at that. Outstanding. Thank you so much. Congratulations, not just to our graduates, but to families who are here as well. We are honored today to have members of our Board of Trustees with us. Our board members are appointed by the governor and volunteer their time to set policy for all of public education in Idaho, including serving as trustees for Boise State University. We feel fortunate to have a board so deeply committed to the highest quality of education for Idaho's colleges and universities and their students. And I'm pleased to introduce two members who are with us today. Dr. Linda Clark is currently serving as president of the board. Dr. Clark spent 43 years as an Idaho educator, retiring most recently after serving 11 years as the superintendent of the West Ada School District. She has a Bachelor of Arts degree from Boise State, a master's from the University of Idaho, and a doctorate from the University of San Francisco. Also with us today is Andrew Scoggin, board member and current executive vice president for human resources, labor relations, public relations, and government affairs for the Albertsons companies. Trustee Scoggin earned his undergraduate degree from Brigham Young University and his Juris Doctorate, graduating summa cum laude from Brigham Young University J. Reuben Clark School of Law. I'd like to bring Trustee Scoggin forward for comments.
Well, thank you, President Kustra. And on behalf of my colleagues on the Idaho State Board of Education and my fellow trustees on the Board of Trustees for Boise State University, I am delighted to congratulate you, the graduates of the class of 2018, on your accomplishments. You will leave this ceremony today with a sound educational foundation, well prepared to meet the future. And we anticipate seeing great things from all of you as you take your newly acquired skills and knowledge into the world. And of course, our sincerest appreciation and gratitude go out to your families, your friends, and all who've supported you on this journey of learning and growth. We honor them here today as we honor you, graduates. As you leave Boise State, I urge you to join me and my colleagues in actively supporting education. It is the greatest tool we have for lifting people up and for changing the world for the better. Please start by remembering to join your alumni association and then extend your support in other ways. To our public schools, to our community colleges, to our technical schools and our colleges and universities, your continued personal commitment and support for education will make it possible for others to enjoy access to the world of opportunities that your Boise State education has opened for you. Now, I cannot, of course, complete my remarks today without mentioning two great Bobs who sit on the stand with me who have done much for the state of Idaho and for Boise State University. President Bob Kustra and CEO Bob Miller. President Bob Kustra today is his last graduation ceremony as president of Boise State University. Yeah, we can clap for that. Bob Kustra has led this university as president through an unprecedented era of growth, development, and student-centered accomplishment, and his leadership has brought an increase in the national and the international reputation of this very excellent institution. Bob Kustra has left an indelible mark on the history of Boise State University. And we will also recognize a little later on in the ceremony today the remarkable accomplishments of Albertsons CEO Bob Miller, whose career of more than half a century of leadership, starting in the back room of an Albertsons store as a teenager, has culminated in the outstanding growth and revitalization of Albertsons Companies, a company, I might note, that was started right here in our own Boise, Idaho in 1939 by a visionary and innovative entrepreneur. Great things come from Boise, Idaho. Bob Miller stands as a great example to all of you who would go out and would change the world through risk-taking, through exceptional customer service, and through great, great vision. Congratulations to both of these leaders. And congratulations to each of you. Best wishes and go Broncos.
Thank you, Trustee Scoggin, for your kind and generous remarks. As Trustee Scoggin alluded to, and we allude to it all the time because we've been growing so fast recently, if you take a snapshot of the number of students we have here at Boise State, in the fall, it's about 24,000, just over 24,000 students. But by the end of the year, about now, when we look back and count all the students who came through since we took that original number, the number stands at somewhere in the neighborhood of 28,000 students served here at Boise State University. And in doing so, we confront so many of the same challenges that any large public university struggles with today. Our faculty and staff not only focus on serving more students each year, but they also spend time enhancing our academic offerings, developing new programs and new degrees. Their extraordinary accomplishments contribute directly to the value of the degree that you're receiving today. So it's with great pleasure that we acknowledge the university vice presidents, deans, the head of the faculty senate, and faculty president today. Mr. Kevin Satterley, vice president and chief operating officer, soon to be the president of Idaho State University. Mr. Mark J. Heil, vice president and chief financial officer. Dr. Mark Rudin, vice president for research and economic development. Ms. Laura Simic, vice president for university advancement. Dr. Leslie Webb, vice president for student affairs and enrollment management. Dr. Edward Test, faculty senate president. And Dr. Andrew Finstuen, our vice provost and dean of the Honors College. And Vice Provost Finstuen will come forward now and introduce the academic deans of Boise State University.
Thank you, President Kustra. It is my honor to introduce the academic deans of the university. Dr. Tammy Vakahasi, Dean, Graduate College. Dr. Ken Peterson, Dean, College of Business and Economics. Dr. Joanne Leidy, Dean, College of Engineering. Dr. Tim Dunnigan, Dean, College of Health Sciences. Mr. Gordon Jones, Dean, College of Innovation and Design. Mr. Mark Wheeler, Dean, Extended Studies. Let me also take a moment to commend our faculty seated behind us, as President Kustra has mentioned. Our faculty's efforts guided these graduates to successful completion of their programs of study. Many of them are behind us, as noted, and we'd like to express a special thank you to these individuals for their service, commitment to the students, alumni, community, and the entire university. Please join me in thanking our faculty. This occasion also serves as a time to recognize faculty members who are retiring. This spring, we have 14 faculty members who are entering retirement and who are being honored by their colleagues as emeriti faculty. Joining us this morning, Charlotte Twite, Professor, Department of Economics, 32 years of service. Harry White, Professor, Department of Finance, 30 years of service. We express grateful thank you to both Drs. White and Twite for their dedicated service to the students, alumni, community, the entire university. Please join me in thanking Drs. White and Twite for their service. President Kustra.
It's customary for Boise State to confer an honorary doctoral degree upon a deserving individual each spring during this ceremony. An honorary doctorate is awarded to recognize an individual of outstanding accomplishment in scholarship, creativity, public service, education, and human welfare. We are proud of this tradition and the significance it holds for all of us. This year's nominee is especially deserving, and we're absolutely thrilled to have him with us today. Robert Miller began his retail career in 1961 when he landed a job as a bottle grocer and sorter at a grocery store. He worked his way up, serving in roles of greater and greater responsibility, first at Albertsons, then at Fred Meyer, Rite Aid, and Wild Oats. In 2006, following the sale of Albertsons Inc. to 3 separate buyers, he returned to Boise to lead Albertsons LLC, a significant contributor to the economic vitality of Idaho and region. Now, this is the part that gets really interesting. When Mr. Miller took over as CEO of this Albertsons LLC, these were stores that were underperforming. They were in deep distress. And there were those who were wondering, how is this all going to work when this once upon a time gigantic Albertsons had left Boise and left Idaho? Well, Bob Miller had been involved when many of those stores were opened years ago, and he knew they could be profitable and provide a boost to the economy and the communities they served. With an eye towards saving jobs and running good grocery stores, Bob always likes to call himself, I'm just a grocer, he says. What he is a genius turnaround man. He assembled an unparalleled leadership team. Together they led one of the biggest turnarounds in food and drug retail history. Fast forward to today, 12 years later, Bob Miller has grown the company from a chain of 192 stores across 7 states into one that operates over 2,300 stores under more than 20 banners in 35 states in the District of Columbia. He continues to serve as chairman of the board and chief executive officer. In 1994, Financial World magazine recognized Bob Miller as the chief executive officer of the year in the retail food category. In 2012, he received the Horatio Alger Award, an honor given to individuals whose courage and determination allowed them to achieve success in their field despite significant early life challenges. Honorees of this award possess a strong commitment to philanthropy and contribute to the Horatio Alger Association's mission, which is to provide scholarships for highly motivated but economically disadvantaged young people. Upon receiving the award, Bob Miller donated $250,000 to the Horatio Alger Foundation to fund 50 scholarships designated for Boise State students. And I just heard him talking out in the back here with some of our staff that he thinks they're running low, so he's going to pump some more money into that program. Albertsons under Bob's leadership has clearly demonstrated a commitment to the importance of education. At Boise State alone, you have all benefited from the generosity of Albertson over the years. Whether you've experienced a sporting event in Albertson Stadium, whether you visited the Yankee Family Research Park or the Albertson Library, you know what difference Albertsons makes for this community. Bob Miller has demonstrated a lifelong dedication to serving customers, improving people's lives, providing opportunities for thousands and thousands of people to flourish under his leadership. I am very pleased to bestow upon him this degree, an honorary doctorate of humane letters for contributions to human welfare from Boise State University. Here it is. All right, now this should get interesting. Okay, Andrew, you want to get on the other side? There we go. Nice blue color there. Great. And you're all set. Yeah.
See if I can find my glasses here. Thank you, President Kustra, and for the warm introduction, and Dr. Finstru for presenting me with this honorary doctorate degree. I understand this award is given to individuals for outstanding accomplishments in their work, and I'm incredibly grateful and humbled to receive it. I couldn't have done it without a great team. I know some of them are here today. One thing I learned through my career from the best mentors I've had is to invest in education. I had a great example of that at Albertsons. Like we've heard, here on the Boise State campus, you probably spent a fair amount of time in the Albertson Library, or you probably wouldn't be here today. In 1990, Albertsons CEO Warren McCain announced the company and its founding family would donate $6 million towards the $10 million renovation of the Boise State Library. 5 years later, when the library was redone and opened, it was named the Albertson Library, and the Warren McCain Reading Room was opened. Albertsons LLC also helped Boise State secure the Ron and Linda Yankee Family Research Park on Park Center Boulevard, right next to our corporate office. But one big investment we made at our company is Albertsons Stadium, the blue. When we signed on to be the stadium sponsor, we wanted to reinforce our company's love for Boise and for Boise State and the commitment to Treasure Valley. So we signed a 15-year deal. I can tell you, in business, a 15-year contract is a long time. It really means you plan on sticking around and doing good things for the community, and we've certainly tried to do that. With the examples of leaders before me showing me how investment in education paid off, I've wanted to do as much as I can for people who had dreams of pursuing higher education, even when it seemed like an impossible dream. So as I've gotten older and had a chance to invest in the education of others, I've done it. In fact, there are 40 recipients of a scholarship right here at Boise State that my family and I have contributed to over the past 5 years, and we just agreed to do it for 5 more years, through the Horatio Alger Boise State University Scholarship. I'm proud that the students selected for this esteemed scholarship have maintained a 3.58 grade point average in their studies. 14 of those students have graduated, and 1 student is with us here today to graduate. A lot of people assume that executives like me have college degrees, but that's not the case for me. One thing I learned early in life was that working hard at whatever you chose to do would get results. And while I was working hard at going to school and working hard at my job, I kept getting promoted. And there's a big difference between moving up in school and moving up from a bottle sorter to a courtesy clerk to a department manager. Even though moving ahead in school was rewarding, as most of you know today, it's mostly personally rewarding now. It doesn't yet pay the bills, but I'm sure it will. And as a young man who was getting married, we needed things like a car and money to pay rent. So eventually, when Albertsons offered me a full-time job, I took it. I thought I would always go back to college, so I put my focus on my job and my family, and I never got the chance to go back because I kept getting promoted. And I'll tell you, I don't regret making that decision, because today I look back on a career of 57 years in the same industry and know that I have made a difference in the lives of people throughout our country. But I also tell you that all of my children have master's degrees. My wife Sharon and I felt it was very important for our kids to be able to pursue whatever they wanted to do, so we ensured that they could attend school. Today, our 3 sons are very successful businessmen. I know today that all of you graduates are here, but I want to acknowledge that everyone around you helped you here today. You don't do this alone. Maybe it's your parents or your grandparents or another relative. Maybe it was a teacher who encouraged you, or even a boss sometimes. I want to personally thank you for all the support you've given these students to be here today. We need strong Boise State graduates to fill the great jobs that are out there today, who will help make our country great. I've thought a lot about what I could say that would make a difference today. I think my advice would be exactly the same if I was sitting down with a couple of you and having a cup of coffee, as it is as I'm going to talk about to you graduates today. And it's the same advice that I give new people when they're starting out at our company, or even when they're growing their careers with us and taking on more and bigger projects. I think there are 4 things that will help you to be successful. First, you have to work hard. There's really no substitute for hard work. Second, you have to tell the truth, because that's how your reputation is built. And value your reputation. I guarantee you, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Third, you have to treat people right. This is the golden rule. Treat people exactly how you want to be treated, and you will rarely be disappointed. And fourth, and probably the most important, you have to believe in others. One thing I learned a long time ago and became a cornerstone of my business philosophy is there's no limit to what you can accomplish if you don't mind who gets the credit. Believe in people, and they will help you be successful. But one thing that ties all these things together is passion. Early in my life, without thinking too much about it, I walked into a grocery store and I asked for a job that I could do and still play football. At that point in time, sports was my passion. So I got a job as a bottle sorter. All I wanted to do as a 16-year-old kid was have some spending money. I had no idea that taking that job in the grocery store when I was 16 would end up changing my life forever. I'd be willing to bet that no one thinks that applying for a job at a grocery store would change their lives. Think about it. The last time you walked into Albertsons and picked up a bag of apples or lunch meat or maybe some of that famous fried chicken, did you think, maybe if I worked here would change my life? Well, it changed mine. I started sorting bottles for $1 an hour. The reason working in that store changed my life is because I learned that my passion for competition was fueled by working in that grocery store. I figured out pretty quickly that I was going to be a good grocer. I knew from talking to my store manager what I needed to do to get his job. And once I had that job, I talked to my boss's boss again, and then I talked to their bosses. I wanted to keep going. I had an idea that I could do really well in this business because I had passion. And I found out that every time I reached out, there were people who truly wanted to help me succeed. They wanted to give me more responsibility, more projects, more hard work, more connections with other people. And ultimately, I became an executive trainee in Boise in 1979, a little while ago. I got to travel to Southern California with Joe Albertsons and Warren McCain. Joe, of course, is the founder of Albertsons, and Warren at that time was the second in command and his CEO. In those days, I was in my 30s. I had a big appetite, so we went to dinner. I had a big steak, a potato, rolls. I ate everything on my plate. I was really full and ready to call it quits, but I noticed that Joe, who had gotten a big steak also, had only taken a few bites. Joe stuck his fork in that steak, threw it on my plate, and said, "You better eat that, we're not gonna waste it." So I learned on that night that having passion for something, you might want to remember to pace yourself. Because what you have on your plate can grow immediately in a very unexpected way. More importantly, what I learned from starting out as a bottle sorter and being that trainee in 1979, then eventually becoming an executive VP 9 years later, was this. When you share your passion for what you do with others around you, others will want to help you. I know that all of you could take your iPhones out or your Samsung phones and show me 27 different things that I never have even thought of with a phone. You're all very adept at technology. I think it's fascinating. I'm glad we have it. But I asked Siri, I said, "Siri, how do I get promoted?" You know what she said? She said, "Interesting question, Bob." There was nothing else after that. So then I asked Alexa, "How do I get promoted?" You know what Alexa said? "Sorry, I don't know that." So then I turned to our president and chief operating officer, Jim Donald, and asked the same question. I've known Jim since he was a night crew manager in 1976 in Florida when I was a district manager. You know what Jim said? He said, "It hasn't changed, Bob. You work hard, you tell the truth, you treat people the way you wanted to be treated, you believe in others, and you have passion for what you do. That's how you get promoted." Find your passion, find it. Find that passion, hang on to it, and if you think you might want to work in a grocery store, we'd love to hear from you. Good luck to all of you, and it's a pleasure to be here.
And you thought all those teaching moments were behind you when you left the classroom. You just got some really sage advice on leadership, success, and life. Thank you so much, Bob Miller. Wow. It's another honored tradition here at Boise State to feature a student speaker at each commencement. For those of us on this stage, this is usually the moment when we are awed and just blown away by the depth and the breadth of accomplishments and experiences that a Boise State student can amass while pursuing an undergraduate degree. This year's student is no exception. Clancy grew up in New Plymouth, Idaho, and came to Boise State as an alumni legacy scholar. Since his arrival, he has been named to the Dean's List with high honors twice. He is graduating today cum laude with a double major in finance and accountancy. Clancy has amassed a number of awards throughout his academic career, including being named a finalist in both 2017 and 2018 in the Idaho Entrepreneur Challenge, an event where students compete for seed money to implement their business ideas. He also won the College of Innovation and Design pitch competition in 2016. Clancy has engaged with the campus community as an officer of the student-led Financial Management Association. Under Clancy's direction, the group launched a stock market trading competition where business students can build their financial knowledge and hone their investment skills. Garrett McBrayer, a faculty member in the Department of Finance, praised Clancy for his contributions to the classroom, his willingness to help peers struggling with material, as well as his ability to work his way through difficult material himself. Clancy has shown leadership through his involvement in the community, serving organizations such as the Idaho FFA Association, the Idaho Rescue Mission, the Idaho Special Olympics, the Idaho Food Bank, 4-H, and others. And somehow, in his spare time, he has managed to work his way through college by running his own company, CJ's Mobile DJ, a business he started when he was a junior in high school and still does to this day. Clancy hopes to work in agricultural technology, and I have no doubt that he will be successful at whatever he sets his mind. Class of 2018, please welcome Clancy Johnston to the podium.
That sounds impressive, but the truth is, I almost fell down those stairs. Good morning, class of 2018, parents, friends, faculty, family, moody middle schoolers who don't really want to be here, families who got lost on a campus tour, and the random guy who thought there was a basketball game today. Welcome. 4 years ago, I arrived on this campus, excited, inspired, and a little nervous. Okay, fine, mainly nervous. It was my first week of class when a t-shirt in my closet ignited an idea. I threw the t-shirt over my head, then I took it off and put it on the right direction, and headed to the quad with a cardboard sign. I felt like the biggest dork holding my sign. 5 minutes went by, and I was starting to get a little nervous. And then, I got my first hug. 32 hugs later, it was the start of a little thing called Free Hug Mondays in my Free Hugs t-shirt. Now, before we go further, I know what you're thinking. No, I wasn't homeschooled. Four years and thousands of hugs later, I have heard the stories of Bronco Nation. Mondays aren't always easy, but it's a day that has connected me with incredible people from all walks of life. A survivor, doing chemotherapy treatments on the weekends, then courageously returning to college week after week. A brother who lost a brother, and Monday was his first day back on campus. A guy who over the weekend asked the girl of his dreams to marry him. She said yes. But then he broke it off and asked some chick named Lauren to marry him. Wait, sorry, that's the wrong story. That's The Bachelor. They're getting married this summer, and Ari is still a jerk. And finally, a woman who just hours before earned the title Grandma as she held her newborn grandson. In a time of so much turmoil, hugs have a way of connecting us. I've shared hugs with people of every age, religion, tongue, and ethnicity. To me, it was a way to love people with no agenda, no precedence. It was also a way to put to very good use my very huggable, teddy bear-like physique. These hugs have taught me many things, and I'd like to share two of the lessons I've learned with you. The reality of pain and the joy of giving. Pain is an intrinsic part of the human experience. It presents itself in many shapes and forms. feeling like you weren't good enough, weren't worth fighting for, the pain of shame, rejection, failure, grief, of difficult circumstances or environments, the pain of crumbled relationships, the torment of heartbreak. For many of us, our deepest internal anguish comes from mental health conditions like anxiety and depression. For some of us, pain is the very reason we get out of bed in the morning to go prove ourselves. I can often relate to that. For others of us, pain is the very reason we don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Being Free Hug Guy has not only given me the opportunity to share in the excitement of others, but also be there for people who really needed a hug. Oftentimes, I didn't even know what they were going through until months afterwards. We're all hurting somehow, and even though you may not be able to tell from the outside, we may try to hide it, numb it, or ignore it, but pain always catches up with us. Which leads us to these questions. What do you do to handle pain? How do you deal with life's most difficult moments? I'll propose to you another question. What if the most important choices we make aren't where we live after graduation, where we work, or who we marry, but rather how we handle pain? Perhaps the single biggest shaper of the rest of our lives are the choices we make in the midst of pain. In some season of our lives, we will come to the point where we just don't want to feel anymore. So we build up walls or self-medicate. However, I've learned that the very walls we build to keep out pain also keep out joy and keep us from true connection with others. Making wise, healthy choices in the midst of our pain starts with 3 powerful words. I need help. I need help. It's admitting you can't do this alone, letting your walls down, and allowing others to step into your pain. I need help is where healing begins, where addictions get broken, and where true, healthy community is formed. It's part of realizing our own humanity. I don't say this as a theory, but stand before you as someone who has experienced firsthand the importance of being honest about my pain and admitting I need help. When I finally invited people into my hurt, my mess, and found that I was still loved in the midst of it, it changed me. This experience of love and grace reinforced in me the value of Free Hug Mondays as a symbol that no one should go through pain alone. This brings me to my second lesson I've learned from Free Hug Mondays. When giving out free hugs, 3 times the regular amount of deodorant is needed. Seriously, I can't stress that enough. The actual second lesson is the joy of giving. We live in a world that defines us by what we get. The happiness economy would convince you that your pain can be pacified with likes, followers, and Lamborghinis. The latest Visa credit card commercial would convince you that true joy and fulfillment can only be found in accumulating and accomplishing. We take refuge on social media where there's a sense of connection but a loss of community, where we are sold counterfeit futures of travel and adventure. Oftentimes, our pain has us strive to get a wide variety of things in the pursuit of happiness. Get good grades, get a good job, get our dream house, get someone who will love us. For me, it was to achieve success in business and to be recognized as a leader. Now, none of these strivings are bad in and of themselves, but when our main motivations are more focused on getting rather than giving, we are often left feeling disappointed and unfulfilled. My experience with free hugs has taught me that the value of our lives are not defined by how much we get, but by how much we give. Our lives are not defined by how much we get, but by how much we give. Other than ridiculous things like giving out free hugs, how can we shift our focus from getting to giving? I'll offer to you one question, a few words with the power to improve families, marriages, relationships, communities. A question that has changed my life and shifted my focus. What can I do to help? What can I do to help? You see, leadership is not a title. It's one life influencing another. A true servant leader looks at their organization, family, or friend group and says, what can I do to help? How can I leverage my time, my resources, my strengths, my knowledge to help you succeed? True leaders lay down their lives and leverage all they are for the good of those they serve. And this is true love, laying down your life for the flourishing of those around you, for your community. Social change, world change, starts when people approach a problem with open arms, listening ears, and a simple question: what can I do to help? No matter your occupation, this mindset of giving can be applied to every aspect of life, and it leads to joy. This isn't just a theoretical concept, it's love in the form of a question. Making a daily habit of verbally asking people, what can I do to help, is sort of like saying, how can I best love you today? You can ask this to your friends, coworkers, family members, significant others, or anyone else in your life. We all have something to give. And this life of giving is not easy, but it's so worth it. There's a guy named Bob Goff who talks and writes about secretly incredible people. Those people in our communities who aren't praised or highlighted, they're just secretly incredible. They're people who do small acts of love that add up to an incredible life. They're humans we're all drawn to, not because of what they've accomplished, but simply because of who they are. Take a few moments to think of the secretly incredible people you know. Some of them are in this audience tonight. I bet you those secretly incredible people have taken the pain they've experienced and pushed through to love and serve others and found joy somewhere on the journey too. If I could reach out to each of you and give you a big hug and tell you something, I'd say that there's something more powerful than your pain, and that's love. Giving doesn't make the pain go away, but it does give us a sense of companionship and purpose in the midst of it. The willingness to look internally and admit, I need help, and to look externally and ask with our hearts, what can I do to help? This is humility. This is the foundation of truly healthy communities. You see, Bronco Nation is more than a beautiful city, our awesome blue turf, or our academic excellence. It's students, faculty, a community who looks outward and says, what can we do to help? So, we create a food pantry to make sure no Bronco goes hungry. We help revolutionize how Idaho Youth Ranch does business. We danced for 17 hours to raise $200,000 for the kids of St. Luke's Children's Hospital. FTK, for the kids. We write code that helps feed the homeless in our city. Greek life, athletes, clubs, college departments, all have served. Kindness, stepping into hard things that matter. This is what makes Bronco Nation, Bronco Nation. I'll leave you with these thoughts. Look inward, admit, I need help. Look outward, ask, what can I do to help? Once you've tasted the joy of giving, purely getting alone will never satisfy. Once you've tasted the joy of giving, purely getting will never satisfy. The free hugs text on my t-shirt is crackled and worn, and that cardboard sign, it's long gone. But what I'll take with me from this is something that can't wither or fade. This campus, this class, this community, and the lessons they've taught me makes me proud to be a Bronco. Congratulations, class of 2018. We did it! Woo!
Thanks, Clancy. Most importantly, thanks to Clancy for reminding all of us up here and in the audience What an incredible role our graduates play as students here year to year, making the contributions to the community that Clancy cited. Sometimes I think that gets lost on us at graduation time, but over these recent years, you have made a substantial difference in the lives of people here in this community by your volunteer efforts, and we much appreciate that. We are now at the focal point of this ceremony, the conferring of the degrees and certificates. I knew you'd like that. All in all, we have 2,682 students eligible for graduation today, qualifying for 2,935 degrees or certificates. 647 of our students are completing their programs with honors. 61 are graduating summa cum laude. 203 are graduating magna cum laude, and 383 are graduating cum laude. Vice Provost Finstuen, will you please present the candidates for degrees earned?
I too wish to extend my congratulations and best wishes to the candidates. It is now my pleasure to present the candidates who have met the degree requirements and who have been recommended by the faculty for graduation. Will the candidates for doctoral degrees please rise? Will the candidates for master's degrees please rise? Will the candidates for graduation with baccalaureate degrees please rise? And will the candidates for associate degrees please rise? President Kustra.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Boise State University and upon the recommendation of the deans and faculty, I hereby confer upon you the appropriate doctoral, master's, specialist, bachelor's, and associate degrees with all the rights and privileges thereto.
Graduates, please be seated. It is now time to begin the individual recognition of each graduate in the order of the degree and by college noted in your program. Names will be read by Dr. Gordon Reinhardt, Professor, Theater Arts, and Dr. Heidi Reeder, Director of Leadership and Human Relations in the College of Innovation and Design. Mr. President, I present the candidates for doctoral degrees. Will the doctoral graduates and their faculty advisors please come forward?
Doctor of Nursing Practice, Sharon Lucille Bennett. Hooded by Dr. Carol Gallegos and Dean Tim Dunnigan. Doctor of Nursing Practice, Heather Omarine Brantley. Hooded by Drs. Teresa Surratt and Dean Tim Dunnigan. Doctor of Nursing Practice, Joanne Elizabeth Coate. Hooded by Dr. Sarah Otten and Dean Tim Dunnigan. Doctor of Nursing Practice, Amberlynn K. Gentry. Hooded by Dr. Sarah Otten and Dean Tim Dunnigan. Doctor of Nursing Practice, Ron Biliano Ordona. Hooded by Dr. Cara Gallegos and Tim Dunnigan. Doctor of Nursing Practice, Dina Ray Rauch. Hooded by Dr. Teresa Surratt and Dean Tim Dunnigan. Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Ahmed Kauser. Hooded by Dr. Hani Mepuran and Dean Joanne Lightley. Doctor of Philosophy in Material Science and Engineering, Shohei Kotani. Hooded by Dr. William Hughes and Dean Joanne Lightley. Doctor of Philosophy in Materials Science and Engineering, Stephen Letourneau. Hooded by Dr. Elton Groundnard and Dean Joanne Lightley.
A doctoral degree constitutes the highest achievement that a student can attain in the academic world. And thus, while the degree symbolizes the culmination of an individual's life as a student, it does not mean the end of learning. To the contrary, one who receives a doctoral degree bears a special responsibility to cultivate and disseminate learning through one's chosen field of endeavor. I congratulate you on earning a doctoral degree and charge you to the honor and special responsibility that that highest degree entails. The graduates may be seated. I now ask that Dr. Tammy Vakahasi, Dean of the Graduate College, and Dr. Scott Lowe, Associate Dean of the Graduate College, to please come forward and recognize their master degrees graduates. And will the graduates receiving master's degrees please rise and come to the front of the stage.
Abby Marie Fisher.
Michael Henry.
Courtney Renee Irwin.
Brittany Zoe Henry.
Neha Raja Badronat.
Michaela Arika Kunetson.
Mark A. Mace.
Alexis Thayer Jonowek.
Michael Joseph Elmorene.
Nathan James Brushnell.
Ryan Samuel Elliott.
Abigail Patricia Asumendi.
Tyler Wilson.
Sarah Adele Chase.
Justine Callan.
Heather Lane Dolman.
Matthew Guy Dutton.
Alexandra Leahy.
Robert Carney.
Javier Aguilar.
Austin Cook Smith.
Jocelyn Ellen Shelsky.
Prerna Nyuk Rayout.
Alejandro Morales.
Shelby Dawn Foy.
Joyce Victoria Alfred.
Patricia Christofia Adis King.
James Joseph Peters.
Majid Asukiani.
Peter Isaac Epstein.
Jennifer Aaron Ingram.
Tyler Robert Byers.
Elena Therese Tomarowitz.
Andrew Lauren Diedrichson.
Leah Geller.
Jennifer Jo McKenzie.
Nian Ma.
Jody Lee Elizondo.
Yi Sun.
Stephen James Bennett.
Jessica Carolina.
Richard Ray Hooten.
Brandon Lee Dushazer.
Ashish Sharma.
Elder Sakebayev.
Anna Marie Chalanga.
Surabi Malisha.
Jonathan Bender.
Christina Desiree Perez Montut.
Gurpal Singh.
James Richard Powers.
Lucas Paul Donaldson.
Tanya L. Ryan.
Jamie Martin.
Ryan Nicholas Edelman.
Teresa Ann Britton.
Michael Isero.
Malia Shea Arnell.
Michelle Dawn Mayer.
Clara Jean Thompson,
Aaron T. Lundy,
Jill Marie Jensen,
Marnie Packard,
Angela Dan,
Sharon D. Smith,
Evan David Sanford,
Hannah Rekla,
Andrew Wilson Green,
Roy Ledesma,
Allison Jean Tamako Ohashi,
Timothy Boyd Cowis,
Kate Lee Heckendorn,
Ryan Chattel,
Lindsay Nicole Reed,
Michael Ann Ruman,
Joseph Peterson,
Jared Grant Mon,
Venkata Bhargav Inampudi,
Jade D. Chase,
Melissa Chafer,
William J. Heacock,
Ramila Maya Duratovic,
Jeffrey Harold Groves,
Ariel Patricia Johnson,
Aaron Alice Rattel,
Lacey Henning,
Joseph R. Stover,
Bryant Clark Carnes,
David Robert Borgothaz,
Carson J. Kawano,
Fari Melton,
Wesley Rogers,
Cale Elliott Coyle,
Angela Lavon Heinsman,
Danielle Mahan,
Cody James Lott,
Carla Jeanette Velaquez,
Caitlin Benson,
Teresa Irene Keppel,
Jennifer Irene Moore,
Nicolette Evelyn Roper,
Raven Lou Farber,
Savannah Sue Tryon,
Kyle Nyland,
Nicholas Adrian Diaz,
Yozora Tedahara Leal,
Veronica Elizabeth Cuppy,
Elena Lindsay Garuti,
Tola Ayonwusi,
Madeline Grace Scheffler,
Binye Joshi,
Lauren Christine Graffio,
Afton Campbell,
Angelica Popko,
Christopher Griner,
Shelby Lee Feld,
Joshua Cha,
Daniel Scott Ellis,
Henry Lam Than Hong,
Ryan Martin Brevick,
William F. Bateman,
Allison Rose Daniels,
Michael Gordon Sanderson,
Lauren Rice,
Justin Ross Brown,
Ronan DeMailey,
Kyle Bowers,
Kevin Shane Heckathorn,
Aaron J. Wu,
Jessica Stribe,
Cartson Floor,
Morgan Tyler Richardson,
Michael Chandler Brown,
Mark Brian Bussert,
Alexandria Nicole Suggs, Brandon
Dresner,
Sierra Taylor Morris,
John Barutia,
Almaka Jayasandra,
Rachel Etasami,
Emily Catherine Walker,
Catherine Louise Clayton,
Douglas Diaz,
Blake Marie Plaster,
Connor Shelton Madro,
Summer Marie Norquist,
Shelby Dawn McIntyre,
Alexis Markovitz,
Carla Fabiola Enrique,
Angel Bustos Penaloza,
Santosh Kumar Sharansa,
Colton Milo Meyerhofer,
Graduates, please be seated. Will Dr. Ken Peterson, Dean of the College of Business and Economics, and Dr. Zainab Hansen, Associate Dean, please come forward and recognize the graduates from the College of Business and Economics. Will the graduates receiving degrees from the College of Business and Economics please rise and come to the front of the stage?
Okay. Jordan Alexander Ord,
Shauna Marie Miller,
Michael John Jenkins,
Rachel Ann Thurman,
Jared Robert Volk,
Sarah Catherine Dyer,
Wyatt Beaumarchais,
Shuro Chung,
Alec Fagee,
Faith Rose Yusi Anse,
Nathan Smith,
Amanda LaCroix,
Zachary T. Wilson,
Braxton Parrish,
William J. Blay,
Bradley Troy Kinman,
Megan Louise Pickering,
Ismael Gastelum,
Luke Edward Richardson,
Katerina Elizaveta Fowler,
Austin Christopher Lake,
Casey Jean Mai,
Derek Anthony Studi,
Madison Kate Campbell,
Joshua J. Nickham,
Melanie A. Brum,
Camden Noel Sutton,
Eric A. Jones,
Ridge Anthony Strickler,
Philip Matthew O'Brien,
James Daniel Davis,
Sean Michael White,
Laura Elizabeth Clay,
McKenna Adele Hawley,
Ryan M. Stevens,
Thomas S. Willis,
Cody A. Hobb,
Zoe Gabrielle Zaks,
Zachary Paul Lancaster,
Sierra Bree Martinez,
Ryan Rainkin,
Jenny Bowie,
Tyler Rainkin,
Tu An Huen,
Cameron Michael Buffner,
Courtney Grothwall,
Michael Leary,
Brianna Rose Richardson,
McKay Schroeder,
Daniel Acuna Victorio,
Jeffrey Gumbo,
Benjamin Scott Storer,
Tanner J. Job,
Marcus Jean Miller,
Caroline Landingham,
Alexis M. Smith,
Shannon Catherine Riley,
Ashley R. Hook,
Kendra Lynn Burns,
Annabelle Figueroa,
Tyler Dennis Hart,
David Rasmussen,
Austin Azevedo,
Brian Lavelle Bobish,
Chandler Cherokee Austin,
Ethan Erickson,
Dan Okerman,
Caitlin Wambolt,
Jordan Taylor Bear,
Micah Brocker,
Caitlin Ray Dressler,
Matthew Allen Bailey,
Olivia Joanne Cushing,
Adam Thomas Scogan,
Paige Alexis Pinson,
Gaif Mesfar Algatani,
Samantha Joy Katana,
Hazim Abdullah bin Suleiman Sr.,
Delaney Johanna Smith,
Abdullah Saad Almodara,
Marissa Renee McKenna,
Sydney Hatfield,
Kayla Ann Pollard,
Taylor R. Hill,
Danielle Louise Dykey,
Brianna Elise Heredia,
Kimberly Elaine Wilburn,
Garrett Sean Carlson,
Corbin Clark,
Olin Christopher Nordahl,
Caden Del Toro,
Clancy Johnston,
Jenna Brems Del Toro,
Nicholas G. Fall,
Lane Aaron Dillingham,
Matthew Don Green,
Colin Johnson,
Brandon Allen Reinstein,
Jessica Letty Hauer,
Michael Kortlever,
Ethan Knapp,
Ali Saleh Al-Safar,
Mitchell V. Behrens,
Hassan Al-Kuebi,
Taylor Edward McGarrigle,
Mohammed Al-Kuebi,
Stuart John Boyd,
Daniel Kituega Tatiano,
Eric Matthew Stibbins,
Amy Madison Taylor,
Rachel Moyer,
Jamigon Sindit,
Mason Ann Bailey,
Lin Lu,
Nicholas A. Freeman,
Manuel Magana Jr.,
Rachel Palazzo,
Amber Cole Whitehorse,
Maria Catherine Marshall,
Candace Ellen Marshall,
Miranda Tolman,
Courtney Jean Miller,
Jessica Torrey Linton,
Hannah Elizabeth Hunter,
Hannah Weber, Leah
Judith Baugh,
Caitlin M. Sullivan,
Jessica Suline Silva,
Christina Marinishava,
Natasha K. Nelson,
Alexander Larson,
Andrea Nicole Vallis Zahn,
Cale Scott Brendlin,
Mariah Nicole Sliger,
Dayton Forrester McKay,
Jose Jimenez,
Jacob Olson Muttart,
Quinn Bowman Shea,
Natasha Ashley Zamperarian.
Vladimir V. Telesov.
Ryan Anthony Gualioni.
Jillian Charlotte Lumbert.
Rand Edward Larson.
Delaney S. Miller.
Colleen C. Lackey.
Caitlin Miller.
Amani Newman.
Angie Bakleon Hilton.
Amber Reed Klepfer.
Thomas Radford Lindblom.
Deanna Valdez Carrillo.
Stephen Hall.
Samantha Rodriguez.
Marcus Charles Emerson.
J.C. Maley Blacker.
David Robert Howell.
Vanessa Mary Johnson.
Brianna Nicole Wadsworth.
Zachary David Hammer.
Miles Gaston Brady.
Raquel Dawn Kylander.
Zachary Tyler Trinan.
Anwar Mostafafwe.
Cole Barham.
Dina Ahmed Abuaza.
Amanda Lee Hogaboom.
Colton Forrest Bratz.
Remington L. Smith.
Tawny L. Bolshevik.
Cheyenne Mackenzie Lucier.
Kelly Nicole Tarantino.
Sarah Marie Allen.
Alex Scott Danins.
Nicole Amelia O'Connor.
Kylie Nicole Canaday.
Brittany R. Beltramo.
Thomas Marshall Spurbeck.
Hannah Pauline Arnold.
Madeline Victoria Coast.
Adam Frederick Heldmeyer.
Joseph R. Bruce.
Sulaiman Otman Aldubaki.
Kevin Scott Ballard.
Talal Alenzi.
Nicholas Jose Larenta Anthony.
Levi Garrison Mart.
Joshua Stephen Dalmas.
Omar Alhugailan.
Jacob Strong.
Sierra Williams.
Austin William Hopkins.
Jonathan Ivanti Moxie.
Sandra Alin Banduraga.
April Lynn Matlock.
Jessica Lynn Hansen.
Colin Ray Blair.
Bethany J. King.
Alyssa D. Martin.
Marco Afonso Eccles.
Garrett J. Stranger.
Esteban Morales.
Ismael Garcia.
Connor Preston Tassi.
Wyatt Andrew Perry.
Calder Powell Ferris.
Kennedy Ray Ferraro.
Joshua Edward Rothbard.
Kyler Gary Ayers.
Jacob A. Stewart.
Dallas Wade Fagan.
Connor William Tweet.
McLean Delarie William.
Kyle James Powell.
Sabrina Elizabeth Krause.
Samuel Henry Walker.
Amanda R. Dodson.
Luke Tokunaga.
McKenna April Haycock.
Megan Hutchinson.
Christina Renteria.
Brianna C. Brex.
Erin Michelle Taylor.
Emina Hanosovich.
Jessica Stacy Misnick.
Matthew Scott Cornwell.
Kristen Bracewell.
Nicole Marie Barth.
Alyssa Danielle Stempel.
Joseph Michael Curet.
Nicole Van Buskirk.
Bailey Ann Weaver.
Mohammed Alawasel.
Musin Adam Fromhart.
Abdulmajid Al-Sharif.
Matthew Ferenz Obeter.
Bandar Al-Harbi.
Keaton Daniel Kraft.
Khalid Alamini.
Jessica Vargas.
Kethlad Abdul.
Riley Scott Brunil.
Ahmed Arithan.
Stephen Guest.
David Llewellyn Lewis.
Owen Green Johnson.
Jonathan Ruley.
Alexandra Michelle Suffa.
Cody Michael Dudley.
Caroline Wilkins.
Adriana Rose Martinez.
Casey Danielle Huntington.
Elena Marie Knight.
Reed Barton McKenzie.
Juliet R. Black.
Riley Dean Reynolds.
Wesley James Armstrong.
Catherine Elizabeth Northcutt.
J.J.E. Hickey.
Corrine Brian Prindle.
Eric Frederick Guth.
Taylor Suzanne Bothke.
Jessica May Fortis.
Hannah Edwards.
Jessica Nicole Soros.
Abdalali La Binamouche.
Derek L. Bastian,
Fuhad Ahmed Gandura,
Jacob Bradley Hall,
Saad Khalid Alanaka,
Sean Bishel,
Mishari Al-Kahatani,
Stephanie Marie Van Wyck,
Rihanna Mary Klansek,
Megan Francis Corbett,
Katerina Elise Edgden,
Shay Kathleen Telford,
Aramis Zhang Onchan,
Samantha Michelle Bikandi,
Jacob Don Byers, Thomas
Dean Taylor,
Camden Joseph Stoddard,
Cal E. Beladoff,
Gary Irvin Ringman,
Michaela Hardman,
Jordan L. Johnson,
Hannah Ann Welburn,
Anthony Walton Dahlquist,
Jihad Elmhaz,
Brandon Michael Cruz,
Salim Alawi,
Haley Marie Marquette,
Ellen J. Thursby,
Ryan Gregory Compagnoni,
Nicholas Alexander Hughes,
Jory Tyler King,
Isaac Don Abravanel,
Kenna Murray Bolin,
Nathaniel Stephen Garcia,
Alyssa Nicole Schnell,
Landon Christian Hawkins,
Kelly Ann Finn,
Blake Elliott,
Kayla M. Burnside,
Kelly Jean Grandel,
Becca Ann Cole,
Kristen Marie Frickle,
James Theodore Anderson,
Jenna Day Landman,
Cody Schneider,
Jessica Leanne Rom,
Riley Martin,
Alden Brereton,
Gregory J. Faith,
Caleb William Smith,
Lexington Morgan Grounds,
Aaron Michael Stark,
Joshua David Matson,
Nathan Thomas Swift,
Jacob Gregory Oram,
Samuel M. Jennings,
Elvis Shashirovich,
Marisa Ray Rule,
Eddie Milkich,
Victoria Marlene Kirkland,
Kenna Christine Ferre,
Grace Elizabeth Martin,
Margaret May Burrell,
Lauren Morgan Butler,
Daniel Patrick Lindberg,
Mackenzie Ray Peak,
Jack Kingdon Chilton,
Jared Jameson Denowitz,
Cameron Robert Owen,
Avery David Stevens,
Hannah Ray Caldwell, Haley Ann Christensen.
Please join us in congratulating these graduates. Graduates, please be seated. Will Dr. Joanne Leidy, Dean of the College of Engineering, and Dr. Sandra Miller, Associate Dean, please come forward and recognize the graduates from the College of Engineering. Will the graduates receiving degrees from the College of Engineering please rise and come to the front of the stage.
Oh my God, we're going. Okay, it might be me first again. We'll see.
Yeah.
Christy Newkirk,
Hector Hernandez,
Amy Marie Filling,
Focus Nizi Sunzu,
Eric Michael Fallon,
Robbins Kumar Yadav,
David R. Flores,
Azucena Camarago Reyes,
Joseph Sparhawk,
Joseph Allen Bell III,
Lane Travis Durkis,
Ian Anthony Gilman,
Joshua Perkins,
Brendan Patrick Tierney,
Luke Alexander Grice,
Tanner Michael Brote,
Austin S. Davis,
Cole Travis Jelinek,
Christopher Dean Calderwood,
Ali Mohammed Al-Khatib,
Kayla May Saunders,
Ronald David Campbell,
Christopher Lathowers,
Timothy Braden Spencer,
Jonathan Castro Camacho,
Zachary Michael Priest,
Stephen Brown,
Ryan C. Hawkins,
Stephen Saldivar,
Wade Morris,
Zachary Aaron Taylor.
Chris James McKellen.
Thomas Herbert Lentz.
Nathaniel Joseph Hernandez.
Travers Robert Brott.
Brian Sean Bixler.
Benjamin Jonovan Chaffez.
Azamat Nuralanovich Tulapagenov.
Eden Honish.
Andrew Rafla.
Eldon Turulia.
Robert Ray Herrera.
Juwan Hang.
Ashley E. Gertman.
Madia Muhammad Musa.
Catherine Soraya Yazanapur.
Dahlia Alnajar.
Megan Michaela Arnett.
Andrew Charles Adams.
Monica Alba Robison.
Duncan Jose Breedlove.
Connor Bradley Nagel.
Diego Robert Breedlove.
Zachary Dean Mickle.
Garrett Michelle Tapia.
Tyler James Wigington.
Curtis G. Butterfeld.
Matthew David Smith.
Jonathan A. Owsley.
Nicholas A. McNew.
Hillary Byers Bernal.
Jared Guttramson.
Sahad Almajed.
Tyler S. Egan.
Anthony Michael Keith.
Saeed Ahmed Gandura.
Scott Darrell Cummings.
Ahmed Saeed Alumari.
Ryan Christopher Bird.
Latif Zaman Khan.
Louise Hammond McGowan.
Zachary Mark Wayne.
Christine Marie Diedrich.
Joseph William Herker.
Andres Correa.
Jared D. Jerka.
Abul Majid Mohsen Alananzi.
Michael Jeffrey McDonald.
Syed Abdullah bin Suleiman.
Emily Ann Fritchman.
Catherine Alexandra Walker.
Ian Benson Mahaney.
Nicholas Allen Carter.
Piper Ann Guttridge.
Justin Carl Reedy.
Madison Ray Austin.
Cody M. Lind.
Stephen Cranny.
Timothy Zavadelli Hutchinchigan.
Jared Taylor Mart.
Justina Freilich.
Stacy Black.
Adriana Elizabeth Lupercio.
David Thomas Larson.
Caleb Wallen.
Heather Dawn Campbell.
Ding Xuan Ma.
Sean Dillon Weech.
Isaac J. Johnson.
Cameron Arthur Wright.
Zachary David Taylor.
Jacob Carnes.
Andy Sue Morton.
Cameron Gage Sellers.
Kelsey V. Sterland.
Brandon W. Hammond.
Matthew Peter Houston.
Joshua Nicholas Downs.
Jake David.
Jonathan M. Adams.
James Carl Reimers.
Brianna Ray Irwin.
Sahil Verma.
Kirsten Nicole Blackstock.
Luke Schumacher.
Stephen Tejas.
Alondrea Bernice Ipieres.
Cody Clark.
Joshua Kyle Newberg.
Patrick Holt.
Haley Ray Dana.
Chandler Frausto.
Fidel Alatiki.
Zach Carter.
Norton O. Gumbo.
Benjamin Wolfgang Hetz.
Ricardo Torsi.
Terrence Michael Weissman.
Melissa B. Brannigan.
Sam Smith McMahon.
Sean Patrick O'Kiley.
Leonard John Riccio Jr.
William L. Crow.
Jabir Alarbash.
Donald Leroy Kellis.
Abdul Haziz Al-Fuidri.
Yesta Rodriguez Ortego.
Ahmad Al-Khaldi.
Sterling Croft.
Khaled Al-Taibi.
Carter W. Warren.
Mohammed Al-Otaibi.
Dale Ray DeRosette.
Nasser Al-Anenzi.
Sydney Love Shoemaker.
Angela Lively.
Brandon Peter Woods.
Caleb Joseph Tackett.
Taeyeon Kong.
Lucas Rodriguez Vieira.
Andrew Christensen Bourne Smith.
Marshall Taylor Eddy.
Luke Roy Rudolph.
Patrick William Cullings.
Anthony Michael Dene.
Lucas Lee Paul Westmoreland.
Anthony Alexander Jankowski.
Sean Patrick McDonald.
Micah Smith.
Sultan Abdullah Balubid.
McKenna McLeod Wright.
Jason Doval.
Cullen Jeffrey Eckhart.
Stephen William Spaulding.
Kendall Titenberg.
Colton Douglas Brown.
Daniel Richard Courtwright.
Bailey J. Goodwin.
Conlon F. Marin.
Anthony Gunnar Quast.
Samuel Brandon Pritchard.
Ryan Scott Poole.
Brady Edward Sandercock.
Taylor J. Howell.
Connor Patricelli.
Chandra Lal Adhikari.
Joshua Adam Kincaid.
Keith Michael Plaisance Jr.
Casey Robert Hergeshemer.
Huma Atifi.
Keegan James Shower.
Ryan Adam Bailey.
Laura Elizabeth Rill.
Noah Holcomb Thomas Rusk.
Carrie Ann Livingston.
Ryan Paul Schlupp.
Oyumo Bashno.
Justin Meyer.
Nathan Brinton.
Tristan Paul Christensen.
Sean Matthew Kelly.
Kara I. Snyder.
Axel Hudson Quarantoni.
Catherine Jane Vestry.
Torin Andrew Alm.
Danielle Marie Theobald.
Benjamin Albert.
Kaylin James Severia.
Elijah Pren.
Brock Robert Barr.
Mac Johnson Bryan.
Darby Nicole Oliver.
Tyler Ross Bevan.
Rocco Erasmo Constanzo.
Saif Al Mahmoud.
Jacob Ferris.
Ahmed Dashti.
Richard Alfred Weissman.
Abdul Alaziz Al Muwassad.
Adelaine Reneso Barrera.
Jalsam Altanak.
Donald Day Ogden.
Amar Yadi Kar.
Jacob T. Holloway.
Mohammed Shayan Khan.
New Lun Lao.
Shahad Kamal.
Allison Reed Colson.
Cheyenne Nicole Merano.
Kayla Ray Possell.
Please join us in congratulating these graduates. Graduates, please be seated. Will Dr. Tim Dunnigan, Dean of the College of Health Sciences, and Dr. Joelle Powers, Associate Dean, please come forward and recognize the graduates from the College of Health Sciences. Will the graduates receiving degrees from the College of Health Sciences please rise and come to the front of the stage.
You just go first, Albert.
Okay. Holland Yvonne Backlund.
Jenna Klingerman.
Danielle Shinot.
Shannon M. Kasuba.
Jenna Danielle Adkins.
Morgan Beryl Aratola.
Michaela J. Bergman.
Emily K.
Sierra Elizabeth Steckland.
Michaela Sue Denif.
Elise Diane Flanagan.
Alexander Vargas.
Madison R. Henkin.
Carly M. Petrie.
Madeline Lee Helmsen.
Bridget Adeline Lawrence.
Kaylee Tyke.
Grayson James Meadows.
Erin Kathleen Maloney.
Misol Gabriela Salinas.
Megan S. Furry.
Kendra May Klingerman.
Madison Shannon Greer.
Sydney Catherine Tidwell.
Mackenzie Esperanza Eckers.
Trevor Dwayne Lee.
Casey A. Parrish.
Sierra Nicole Stratton.
Taylor Lynn Willis.
Amelia Lynn Kraus.
Ryan K. Sage.
Adriana Nicole Pitzer.
Gabriel Douglas Payne.
Sadie Lynn Kuntz.
Kelly Lynn Kraus.
Jennifer Marie Smelser.
Vivian Claire Williams.
Michaela Michelle Pickering.
Emily Brooke Westendorf.
Megan Elizabeth Pritikin.
Alyssa Catherine Calamia.
Bailey Marie Brewer.
Sierra Michael Burke.
Madeline Hayes.
Jordan Robert Nab.
Haley Suzanne Cook.
Alec Gentry Lopez.
Nikki Collins.
Lania Laird.
Mandy Huang.
Joshua Isaac Maggard.
Andrew Dennis Pooley.
Mintu Carolina Huka.
Alicia Marie Draper.
Alexis K. Flock.
Alexandra Renee Howard.
Juliette Muika Mukana.
Delaney Rose Bergen.
David Krieg Nichols.
Courtney Marie Raleigh.
Hannah Sage Griffin.
Gina Celine Cordero.
Cassie D. King.
Molly McCullough.
Jeremy Kent Kovach.
Sheldon Schuyler Burgess.
Haley Elise McNabb.
Bailey Christine Sloan.
Sarah Rose McCallum.
Taylor Ann Weatherby.
Theresa Joanne Zimmerman.
Shona C. Ramsey.
Hannah Quinn Smith.
Michelle Kanihichi Tsukamoto.
Bailey Ann Blazer.
Brady Kalen Grayson.
Sarah Catherine Taylor.
Justin Allen Suter.
Jesse Cheyenne Vogel.
Joel David Nielsen.
Alex Exmarian.
Jessica Gabrielle Guy.
Sandra Mary Calantes.
Morgan Lindsay Jacobson.
Anna Catherine Stockwell.
Kayla Sue Stevens.
Joseph Kayana Brinton.
Emily Macedo.
Kevin Austin Wexler.
Anthony Michael Kissel.
Riley R. Raub.
Letitia Sotelo.
Skylar Shea Luna.
Amanda Lynn Deason.
Jennifer Page Phillips.
Jeremy Lee Saban Jr.
Olivia Catherine DeGilio.
Migley H. Morales.
Shelby Lee Donovan.
Esmeralda Soto.
Karina Villafana.
Zachary Aaron Stelzer.
Connor McKay Christensen.
Logan Mackey Fox.
Garrett Jason Gallagher.
Kyle T. Reynolds.
Tyler Scott Fuller.
Nolan Fisher.
Eamon Eid Alharbi.
Samantha Sipple.
Elvira Dudlea.
Ashley Ramirez.
Miriam Alram.
Jackie Lynn Gertie.
Nathan Patrick Ellis.
Amy Elizabeth Bishop.
Kari Lynn Smith.
Christopher Percy.
Becky Yvette Hyatt.
Ryan Thomas Morris.
Julie L. Rakir.
Corey Leanne Perkins.
Sydney Ray Bullock.
Sadie Grace Winninghoff.
Daniel Matthew Rubinowski.
Anna Casey.
Sierra J. Charney.
Lauren Marie Snow.
Lindsay E. Richardson.
Devin Alexandra Monahan Sharp.
Ashley K. Fultz.
Hannah Grace Wetmore.
Melanie A. Abravanel.
Ashley Danielle Abel.
Jack J. Pratt.
Theodore Mihai Iremia.
Amanda Wynn Wimpe.
Prudence Vincent.
Christine Larson.
Hillary Ann Abisher.
Lisa L. Jacobson.
Sheena M. Downey.
Emily Megan Groh.
Teresa Paulette Titcomb.
Rachel Amanda Hooper.
Marlia C. Holdaway.
Marina Lynn Katrina Schmidt.
Cheryl Lynn Shaw.
Molly Catherine Heseltine.
Peggy Catherine McMahon.
Morgan Bethany Hayes.
Natalie Garduño.
Kelly Christiana Plaster.
Connor Matthew McLean.
Brooke Rochelle Obatek.
Nandu Mialano.
Sakura A. Sanders.
Lorena Isimara Noriega.
Tricia J. Emery.
Rosajura Larios Villafana.
Gerald L. Suizo.
Nileda Jacqueline Carrillo Terriquez.
Courtney Ann Moore.
Alisa Kayla Robles.
Jeffrey E. Shepard.
Matthew Thomas Carr.
Seraphin Camacho.
Anthony Leroy Castro Castillo.
Aaron James Suor.
Daniel Joseph Ryan.
Logan Alton Strobeck.
Abby Jane Bergman.
Emily Quinn Winters.
Naomi Maria Marguerite Parnilla de Hart.
Megan S. Davis.
Clint Patrick Clifford.
Jordan Gregory Anderson.
Jessica Lane Castle.
Lexi Rianne Threat.
Madeline A. Streeter.
Cade P. Reddy.
Sarah Jane Derry.
Farzad Moradi.
Cooper Buster Bronco Lyons.
Jennifer Noel Davidson.
Lisa K. Chikoff.
Diana Luganas.
Lisa Marie Johnston.
Brianna Elisa Arevalo.
Robert Korth Admonson.
Megan Forster.
Sang Praset Lunangafe.
Christina Nicole Yule.
William Joseph Wingert.
Elizabeth Ilona Gordon.
Andy Luis Vassar.
Athanasia Widman.
Brianne Shumansky.
Kelsey Lynn Hines.
Dalton James Early.
Jamie Cornelia Harryford.
Michael Joseph Gonzalez.
Paige Ryman.
Erica Sarina Ceros.
Samuel James Schwallenberg.
Emma Joan Burke.
Matthew Thomas Schwallenberg.
Olivia L. Anderson.
Anthony Robert Cassiopo.
Jamie L. Hawkins.
Anna Rose Bartran.
Sydney Adele Werner.
Peter Dominic Housecarriog.
Courtney Noel Hutchinson.
Haley Marie Olivias.
Danielle Brown.
Leanna Marie Brownell.
Holly Elizabeth Phillips.
Tyler Evan Piper.
Stephen G. Schmutzer.
Raquel Christine Marsha Sue.
Carrie Johnson.
Kaylee Warren.
Mary Kate Hanlon.
Kelly Burke Colton.
Hannah K. Paul.
Nicole B. Stevenson.
Brad Thomas Foote.
Brooke Lynn Wheeler.
Justin Michael Nelson.
Patricia Louise Hansen.
Samuel Robert John Deal.
Deanne Michelle Messigas.
Brecca Julianne Wicklund.
Brandy Rochelle Potisan.
Brock Wade Ferris.
Mackenzie Justice Callahan.
Brittany Elaine Kent.
Cadence Lynn Anderson.
Hiba Joy Menorigi.
Rachel Christina Weber.
Anna Victoria Berg.
Deanna M. Alpau.
Lindsay Kayla Aldoretti.
Orion Rue Welburn.
Skylar Cy Siebold.
Madison Elise Ellis.
Dusty Jonathan Fisher.
Everlyn Mora Nyakundi.
Andrea Michelle Elgathobel.
Jennifer C. Williams.
Michael Tusignet.
Angelina Sue Sheffield.
Marina Carolina Barry.
Lisa Marie Ulrich.
Denise Lynn Lakariki.
Jennifer Ann Byrne.
James Floyd Young.
Veronica A. McDuffie.
Alexa Caitlin Potter.
Pacifique Ishimui.
Monica J. Bottleberg.
Alex Ephraim Lewis.
Casey Taylor Tobin.
Wyatt Refit Vallejo,
Molly Ann Billsborough,
Chloe Susanna Goodsell,
Megan Grace Townsend,
Kathleen Dovey Gregson,
Clay Anthony Cullen,
Justin Armstrong,
Jelani Anika Aniba,
Dana Rose Kierans,
Kylie Ray Carlson,
Karen Maxine Drinkard,
Ariana Evelyn Elkins,
Ani Mikhael,
Claire Michelle Weingartner,
Alejandro Bravo Inijas,
Chelsea Ann Burnett,
Onika Sadera Schultz,
Ashley Ann Ekman,
Sarah Wolf,
Madeline Claire Hamilton,
Melika Gali,
Paulette Velasquez,
Andrew Thomas Ubaraga,
Paul George Edward Bridle,
Thane G. Kamwan,
Cindy Elizabeth Yusevich,
Sadie Jolene Hindell,
Mitchell Cron,
Sarah Elizabeth Allen,
John Hurd,
Pillar Sasha Gail Harmon,
Andrew Stephen Lamb,
Delaney Michelle Hosmer,
Amber D. Scott Wilson,
Joseph M. Green,
Sean Marie Heidinger,
Mark Christopher Connolly,
Carrie Renee Rippey,
Ilse Karen Terrell,
Natalie Ann Kirby,
Sadia Amani,
Genesis Sophia Lopez,
Tess Courtney McWilliams,
Nikki Vogel,
Jessica C. Burt,
Matthew Paul Jubb,
Kaylin Ann Moody,
Heather Elizabeth Slaughter,
Kayla McDonnell,
Brenda Huerta Vasquez,
Sarah Irene Martin,
Emma Rory Cheyenne Peeler,
Khalid Ahmed Al-Kathiri,
Gabrielle O. Yusog,
Khalid Abdullah Almgir,
Alexander Cole Thackeray,
Philip John Carmichael III,
Alesha K. Barr,
Madison S. Motzner,
Bethany Ann Cott,
Alex Parker Day,
Mark Alton Gross,
Jose M. Gutierrez,
Angela Dawn Ryan,
Belma Milovic,
Omid Otadi,
Hannah M. Stark,
Lacey Lee Ruth Marlett,
Allison Nicole Miller,
Raquel Nunez,
Corina Dorothea Cook,
Ingrid Ann Stokes,
Amanda Jean Woolley,
Taylor Ruth Ann Sievers,
Melissa Marie Dick,
Megan Danielle Farrow,
Victoria Frances Lanza,
Jessica Lynn Barber.
Please join us in congratulating these graduates. Graduates, please be seated. President Kustra.
Congratulations, graduates. You have all played a critical role in the life of this university. Needless to say, you've attended Boise State at a dynamic and transformational period in our history. As increasing numbers of students from across the United States and abroad come to Boise State, campus life is enriched immeasurably, adding to the chemistry that turns a university campus into a living and learning community. I hope you never forget the role that each and every one of you played in building the Boise State of today and contributing to the quality and the value of the Boise State degree. Indeed, your role will be recognized as one of the building blocks that empowered Boise State to serve a stronger Idaho, to build our state and regional economy, and to improve the civic fabric of this very special place we call home. Now, as we come to the conclusion of this ceremony, this is the moment when I welcome you to the Boise State Alumni Association. And I have a throwaway line about how you are now entitled to lifelong solicitations from the Alumni Association. And then just a few years ago, I read an article about a guy who was trying to describe the nature of the economy that we live in today. And he called it the age of acceleration, where change is occurring so rapidly in the workplace and in our society that the education we validate for you today may well need reinforcement and enhancement as the years go by. And today, alumni associations are not just about parties or fundraising or whatever. They're about reaching out to alumni and providing mentoring, career advice, counseling on educational opportunities beyond the degree you earn today. We invite you to become a member and join the thousands of fellow graduates who have elected to remain connected and who are committed to leaving a legacy imprint that will serve future generations of Broncos. In fact, to demonstrate the growing influence of our alumni community, we ask that all of our Boise State alumni in the audience please stand and be recognized. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Now, in a moment, the Boise State University faculty will recognize you with our traditional honor march. Led by Dr. Edward Test, the president of the Faculty Senate, our faculty will applaud you for your hard work and dedication as a way of wishing you the very best as you step into the next phase of your lives. After the ceremony, please join us at college receptions located in the Simplot Ballroom in our Student Union building. Shuttle buses, by the way, will be available in front of the arena if you'd like a ride over. And feel free to be one of the first in line for our favorite and beloved bee. There it is, all over the place. Some of you may actually have had your photo taken in front of the bee at orientation. So now you can put the other bookend in place as you do it today. The closing music this afternoon will be performed by the Boise State Meister Singers, directed by Dr. Michael Porter. They will be performing Le Bois, Boise State's alma mater, music by J.L. Strachan, arranged by Jared Cole Sorum, with words by H. Moore. At this time, please join, or stand and join, for the singing of our alma mater.
Boise State beautiful, Boise State wonderful, here alma mater, the praise from our lips, shine from the strength of the Idaho forest, shine from the hills where the western sun dips. Bring us in honor to tasks of the future, help us in dignity forward to go. Shrine in our hearts, alma mater beloved, cast thy warm light on the lives of us all. Boise State beautiful, Boise State wonderful, hear alma mater, the praise from our lips, shine from the strength of the Idaho forest, shine from the hills where the western sun dips.
Thank you, Dr. Porter, the Meister Singers. As you stand, graduates, those of you who are receiving a baccalaureate degree or associate degree, please signify in unison the completion of your graduation by moving your tassel from the right side of the mortarboard to the left side of the mortarboard. Whoa! Congratulations, graduates. Thanks to our guests for joining us today. Have a great summer.